Inflammation isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you live. A lot of people try to fix their health by changing what's on their plate. They cut sugar, they avoid fried food, they switch to clean eating. And sometimes nothing really changes. They still wake up tired, their body still feels heavy, their stomach still feels off, their mood still swings for no clear reason. That's usually the moment people think, maybe I'm just getting older, or this is probably normal. But here's something we almost never talk about. Inflammation doesn't only come from food, it also comes from how you live your day. You can eat perfectly and still be inflamed because your body isn't reacting only to what you eat. It's reacting to how safe, calm, rushed, stressed, or exhausted your life feels. Think about a normal day. You wake up already tired, you rush through the morning, you sit for hours, you barely move, you're mentally tense even when nothing dramatic is happening. At night, your body is exhausted, but your mind won't slow down. From the outside, nothing looks wrong, but inside, your body is constantly in a low-level emergency mode. That state, constant tension, constant alertness, is inflammatory. Your body doesn't know the difference between real danger and modern stress. It reacts the same way. When your nervous system stays switched on all day, your body releases stress hormones. Those hormones are useful in short bursts, but when they stay high for too long, they quietly damage tissues, blood vessels, digestion, and sleep. This is how inflammation becomes part of daily life. Not loud, not dramatic, just persistent. That's why some people say, I eat healthy, but I still feel bad. The missing piece is often lifestyle inflammation. Sitting all day slows circulation, poor sleep blocks repair, constant pressure keeps the immune system confused, lack of recovery time tells the body, don't relax, stay alert, and the body listens. Inflammation is not the body attacking itself for no reason, it's the body responding to signals. And many of those signals come from how we live, not what we eat. Modern life sends mixed messages to the body. Physically, we don't move much. Mentally, we never rest. Emotionally, we're always on. The body was never designed for that combination. In the past, stress came in waves, short, intense moments, then recovery. Now, stress is flat and endless. Emails, screens, noise, deadlines, expectations, no clear beginning, no clear end. So the body adapts the only way it knows how. It stays tense, it stays guarded, it stays inflamed. This kind of inflammation doesn't hurt sharply. It feels like stiffness, brain fog, poor digestion, low energy, shallow sleep. Easy to ignore, easy to normalize. But over time, it adds up. What's important to understand is this: your body is not weak, it's not broken, it's responding logically to your environment. If your days never truly slow down, your body won't either. That's why anti-inflammatory living isn't about doing more, it's about creating space. Space for movement, space for rest, space for recovery. Not extreme changes, not perfect routines, just signals that tell your body it's okay to stand down. Because inflammation calms when the body feels safe. Food matters, yes, but lifestyle sets the background tone. If the background is always tense, food alone can't fix it. This chapter isn't about blaming your habits, it's about understanding the connection. Once you see that inflammation is shaped by how you live, you stop fighting your body. You start working with it. And that's where real change begins. After understanding that inflammation is shaped by how we live, the next thing that quietly keeps the fire going is something very simple: not moving. This sounds obvious, almost too basic, which is why most people overlook it. When people hear movement, they immediately think of exercise, gyms, workouts, sweating, discipline. But that's not what this is about. The real issue isn't that people don't exercise enough, it's that they barely move at all. Think about a typical day. You sit to eat, you sit to work, you sit to relax, you sit again before bed. Your body might stay in the same shape for hours. From the outside, this looks harmless. Inside, it changes everything. Your body is built to move fluids constantly: blood, lymph, oxygen, nutrients, waste. Movement is what keeps those systems flowing. When you stop moving, circulation slows. When circulation slows, waste clears more slowly. When waste lingers, the immune system stays active. That's inflammation. This isn't dramatic or immediate, it's slow and quiet. You don't feel pain right away, you feel stiffness, heaviness, that dull feeling where your body just doesn't feel awake. Your muscles aren't just for strength, they act like pumps. Every time you move, they help push blood and lymph through the body. When muscles stay still, that pumping system shuts down. Now imagine that happening every day, year after year. Inflammation doesn't spike, it settles in. This is why sitting for long periods is linked to heart issues, metabolic problems, and chronic fatigue, even in people who eat well. The body reads stillness as stagnation, and stagnation is stressful for the system. Another thing people don't realize is how movement affects inflammation through hormones. When you move regularly, even gently, your body releases signals that say, "Everything is working, we're okay." When you don't move, those signals disappear. Instead, stress hormones dominate. Your body isn't designed to be still while mentally active. That mismatch is a big problem. Physically frozen, mentally overloaded. From the body's perspective, that makes no sense. So it stays slightly alert, slightly tense, slightly inflamed. This is why a short walk can sometimes do more than a hard workout. It tells the nervous system something important. I'm moving, I'm safe, I'm not trapped. And safety is the fastest anti-inflammatory signal there is. You don't need intense exercise to get this effect. You need frequent movement. Standing up, stretching, walking slowly, changing positions. These small actions break the inflammatory loop. The problem with modern life isn't laziness, it's design. Chairs, screens, cars, convenience, they remove natural movement from daily life. So inflammation doesn't come from doing nothing, it comes from doing too little too long. Your body doesn't need motivation, it needs permission to move again. And once movement returns, even in simple forms, the internal environment starts to change. Blood flows better, oxygen delivery improves, waste clears more efficiently. Inflammation loses its reason to stay. This is why people often feel better without knowing why when they travel, walk more, or spend time outside. It's not the vacation, it's the movement. When the body moves, inflammation softens, not because you're burning calories, but because you're restoring circulation and balance. Anti-inflammatory living doesn't start with pushing harder, it starts with stopping the stillness, and that sets the stage for everything else that comes next. Even if you move enough, even if you eat reasonably well, there's another reason inflammation sticks around: being tired all the time. Not "I didn't sleep well last night" tired, the deeper kind, the kind that doesn't go away after rest. This type of fatigue quietly keeps the body inflamed. Most people treat fatigue like a motivation problem. They think they need more discipline, more willpower. But the body reads chronic fatigue very differently. To your system, constant tiredness feels like danger. When you're exhausted, your body assumes resources are scarce, energy is limited, recovery is risky. So it shifts into protection mode. Protection mode means higher inflammation. Inflammation isn't just about fighting infections, it's also about keeping you alert when the body thinks you're under threat. If you're always tired, the body never fully relaxes. One system that gets hit hard by this is the nervous system. When rest is shallow or incomplete, the nervous system stays slightly on. Heart rate stays higher, muscles don't fully release, digestion slows down. All of that feeds inflammation. Sleep plays a huge role here, but it's not just about hours. You can sleep for 8 hours and still not recover, because recovery isn't just time, it's quality. If your mind keeps racing, if you wake up tense, if your sleep is light and broken, your body never gets the signal that it's safe to repair. Without that signal, inflammation remains active. There's also the issue of overdoing things. Many people push through exhaustion every day. They work tired, they exercise tired, they socialize tired. From the outside, they look functional. Inside, the body is constantly compensating. Compensation costs energy, and energy debt creates inflammation. This is especially true when mental stress meets physical fatigue. Your brain demands focus, your body doesn't have the fuel. That mismatch triggers stress hormones, and stress hormones are inflammatory by nature. Over time, the body adapts to this state. It becomes the new normal. You don't feel sharp pain, you feel foggy, irritable, heavy. That's low-grade inflammation talking. Rest isn't just stopping activity, it's letting the nervous system downshift. That means quiet, slower breathing, moments where nothing is expected of you. These moments are rare now. Phones keep the brain active, deadlines keep the body tense, even relaxation feels productive. But the body doesn't recover through distraction, it recovers through stillness that feels safe. When true rest returns, something interesting happens. Inflammation starts to drop without changing food, supplements, or routines, because the body finally believes it can afford to heal. Fatigue isn't weakness, it's a signal, and when that signal is ignored long enough, inflammation stays behind as a reminder. This is why managing energy is just as important as managing diet or exercise. Not pushing harder, not optimizing everything, but knowing when the body has had enough. When exhaustion eases, the internal fire loses one of its biggest fuel sources, and that opens the door to the next factor, one that most people feel every day but rarely connect to inflammation. There's a kind of stress that doesn't shout. It doesn't feel like panic. It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like being slightly tense all the time, jaw tight, shoulders raised, breathing shallow without noticing. This low-level pressure is one of the strongest drivers of inflammation because the body doesn't measure stress by logic, it measures it by signals. Tight muscles signal danger, fast thoughts signal urgency, shallow breathing signals threat. Even if nothing is wrong, the body prepares for impact, and preparation means inflammation. When emotional stress becomes constant, the stress response never fully turns off. Cortisol stays elevated, adrenaline stays nearby, the immune system stays alert. That alertness was meant for short bursts, minutes, hours at most, but modern life stretches it into days, months, years. The body adapts, but not in a healthy way. Instead of intense inflammation, you get quiet, persistent inflammation, the kind that doesn't hurt sharply but slowly wears things down. Blood sugar becomes unstable, blood pressure creeps up, fat storage increases, especially around the belly. Not because you're eating more, but because stress changes how your body handles energy. Under stress, the body prioritizes survival, not balance. It diverts resources away from digestion, repair, and immune regulation. That imbalance fuels inflammation. Emotional stress also changes how we behave without us noticing. We eat faster, we breathe less deeply, we sleep lighter. Each of these adds a small inflammatory load. Alone, they seem harmless. Together, they stack. Another overlooked factor is emotional suppression. When emotions aren't expressed, they don't disappear. The nervous system holds them. That holding shows up physically. Tight chest, knotted stomach, persistent neck and back tension. These aren't just feelings, they're physiological states. And prolonged tension tells the immune system to stay on guard. This is why people under chronic emotional stress often get sick more easily, heal more slowly, and feel inflamed without clear cause. The body is reacting to an environment that never feels safe enough to relax. Calming inflammation here isn't about thinking positive. It's about creating moments where the body feels permission to exhale. Slower breathing, unrushed movement, honest emotional release. Not fixing everything, not solving life, just letting the system come down a notch. When emotional pressure eases, even slightly, the immune system follows. Inflammation softens. The body begins to shift from defense to repair. And that brings us to another everyday habit that quietly keeps inflammation alive, something most people don't even realize they're doing all day. One of the most underestimated drivers of inflammation is how still modern life has made us. Not resting, not sleeping, still. Sitting for hours, standing without moving, staring at screens while the body stays frozen. The human body was never designed for long periods of immobility. Movement isn't just about fitness, it's a regulatory signal. Every time muscles contract and release, they send messages throughout the body. Blood moves more freely, lymphatic fluid circulates, inflammatory byproducts get cleared out. When movement disappears, that cleanup system slows down. Inflammation doesn't explode, it lingers. Sitting for long stretches reduces blood flow to major muscle groups. That reduced flow means less oxygen, less nutrient delivery, and slower waste removal. Cells under low oxygen conditions behave differently. They switch into survival mode, and survival mode favors inflammation. This is why people can exercise regularly, yet still feel stiff, swollen, or inflamed. One workout a day doesn't cancel out 10 hours of stillness. The body responds to what it experiences most often. Small, frequent movements matter more than intense, occasional ones. Another issue is how we move, or don't move under mental load. When people are stressed or focused, they move less. They freeze without realizing it. Shoulders lock, hips stop shifting, breathing becomes shallow. This combination of stillness and tension is especially inflammatory. Muscles stay partially contracted for hours. That constant low-level contraction restricts circulation. Restricted circulation leads to metabolic waste buildup, and waste buildup triggers inflammatory signals. Over time, the nervous system starts to treat stillness as normal. Pain thresholds change. Stiffness becomes familiar. Discomfort fades into the background, but inflammation keeps working quietly. Another overlooked factor is posture. Collapsed posture compresses organs. Compression affects digestion, breathing, and blood flow. Poor breathing mechanics reduce oxygen delivery. Lower oxygen levels increase inflammatory signaling at the cellular level. Again, nothing dramatic happens, just gradual imbalance. Movement also plays a role in hormone regulation. Gentle activity improves insulin sensitivity. It helps regulate cortisol. It supports the release of anti-inflammatory compounds produced by muscles. These benefits don't require sweating or exhaustion. They require consistency. Walking, stretching, shifting positions, letting the body remember that it's alive, not parked. Inflammation decreases when the body feels dynamic rather than trapped. This is why people often feel better on vacations, even if they eat more or sleep less. They move naturally. They walk more, sit less, change positions often. Their nervous system receives constant signals of safety and flow. Movement also affects the gut. Physical motion stimulates intestinal movement. When digestion slows due to inactivity, gut bacteria shift. Those shifts can promote inflammatory compounds entering the bloodstream. So stillness feeds inflammation from multiple angles at once. Reducing this kind of inflammation doesn't require a new workout plan. It requires interrupting stillness, standing up regularly, changing posture, taking brief walks, letting joints move through their natural ranges. These small actions send a powerful message to the immune system. The body is functioning, circulation is active, there is no immediate threat. When that message repeats throughout the day, inflammation gradually loses its grip. And yet, even with better movement and less stress, many people still struggle with inflammation because there's one more modern habit that keeps the immune system irritated without us ever noticing. That's where the next part begins. One of the biggest misunderstandings about healthy living is that it's supposed to feel hard. More discipline, more control, more rules, as if the body only heals when you're pushing it. But when it comes to inflammation, the opposite is often true. Chronic inflammation doesn't come from laziness, it comes from constant pressure. Always trying to do better, always trying to optimize, always telling yourself you're not doing enough. The immune system doesn't calm down when life feels like a performance review. It calms down when the body senses safety. And safety doesn't come from effort, it comes from release. Think about how inflammation works. It's the body staying alert for danger that never quite arrives. Not an emergency, just a low, steady alarm. Trying harder often keeps that alarm on. Strict diets, overtraining, forcing routines that don't fit real life. On paper, it looks healthy. Inside the body, it feels like stress. And stress, even when disguised as self-improvement, still triggers inflammatory pathways. Many people live in a state of constant self-correction, monitoring every bite, judging every rest day, feeling guilty for slowing down. That mental tension translates directly into physical tension. Tight muscles, shallow breathing, elevated cortisol. Inflammation loves that environment. Anti-inflammatory living isn't about pushing the body to behave, it's about giving it fewer reasons to stay defensive. That starts with letting go of the idea that health is something you have to earn. The body already wants balance, it just needs room. Eating becomes anti-inflammatory when it's regular, satisfying, and calm. Not perfect, not rigid. Movement becomes anti-inflammatory when it feels supportive, not punishing. Rest becomes anti-inflammatory when it's allowed without guilt. Even sleep improves when you stop trying to force it. Trying to fix yourself keeps the nervous system activated. Letting yourself be okay allows it to downshift. This doesn't mean doing nothing, it means doing things without internal pressure. Choosing foods that make you feel steady, not foods that make you feel virtuous. Moving because your body feels better after, not because you're afraid of what happens if you don't. Taking breaks before exhaustion demands them. When the body experiences ease repeatedly, the immune system recalibrates. Inflammatory signals decrease because the environment no longer feels hostile. This is why extreme approaches often backfire. They add another layer of stress on top of an already stressed system. The body doesn't interpret discipline as safety. It interprets predictability, nourishment, and rest as safety. And safety is the true anti-inflammatory signal. There's also a psychological piece here. Inflammation is deeply tied to how threatened we feel in daily life. Constant comparison, constant urgency, constant self-criticism. All of that keeps the brain on edge. An on-edge brain sends inflammatory instructions downstream. Slowing down mentally matters just as much as changing what's on your plate. That might mean fewer rules. It might mean fewer goals. It might mean choosing good enough more often. That's not giving up. That's cooperating with your biology. The most anti-inflammatory shift many people make is permission. Permission to rest, permission to eat without fear, permission to move gently, permission to stop optimizing every detail. When that permission becomes consistent, the body starts to trust again. Inflammation isn't stubborn, it's cautious. When life stops feeling like a constant demand, the immune system finally stands down. And that leads to the last, most important piece. Because even when food improves, movement improves, and stress softens, inflammation can still persist if one deeper habit stays unchanged. That's where the final part goes. By this point, one thing should feel clear. Inflammation isn't something that suddenly appears, and it isn't something you defeat with one big change. It settles in slowly, and it leaves the same way. What keeps it alive more than anything else is repetition, not dramatic habits, ordinary ones. The way your days usually go, the pace you live at without thinking, what your body experiences most of the time. That's why short-term fixes rarely work. A strict plan for a few weeks might lower inflammation temporarily, but when life goes back to normal, the body goes back to guarding itself, because nothing underneath actually changed. The real shift happens when your daily environment becomes less hostile to your body. Not perfect, just gentler. When meals are regular instead of rushed, when movement is woven into the day instead of forced into a corner, when rest isn't something you earn only after collapse. Those patterns teach the body something important, that it doesn't have to stay alert all the time. Inflammation fades when the immune system trusts that tomorrow won't be another emergency. And trust doesn't come from rules, it comes from consistency. This is why sustainable anti-inflammatory living looks almost boring from the outside. No extremes, no constant upgrades, no obsession. Just a rhythm the body can rely on. Eat in a way that feels steady, move in ways that feel natural, rest before exhaustion sets in, release pressure instead of stacking it. When these become normal, inflammation loses its role. It no longer needs to protect, no longer needs to stay switched on. What replaces it isn't perfection, it's quiet. Better sleep, clearer thinking, more stable energy, a body that feels less heavy to live in. And this is the part people often miss. Anti-inflammatory living isn't about control, it's about relationship. How you relate to your body, how you listen instead of override, how you respond instead of push. Once that relationship changes, everything else becomes easier. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily. The body doesn't need to be convinced, it needs to be reassured. When life stops feeling like constant demand, the immune system finally steps back. That's when healing actually has space to happen, not because you tried harder, but because you stopped fighting your own biology. And that's where this chapter ends. not with instructions, but with a shift in how you see inflammation, not as an enemy to crush, but as a signal that can finally relax when your life gives it permission to.